Hello and welcome. This is just another video by Quit Sleeping. Today I wanted to break down the Occupy movements that are going on in this country right now. Start off with Occupy Wall Street, which is obvious what they're angry about the bankers and the bailouts and the different things that are going on. But also there's a lot of other Occupy movements that are going on right now. And first of all, let's say, what is an Occupy movement? An Occupy movement, first of all, is basically anytime you want. It's like a protest, where you don't leave. It's anything that you want to present that you're fighting for, something that you believe in, a type of a protest where you stay somewhere long enough to get recognized. Okay, so when they say there's no clear message in some of these groups, well, that's pretty much how it's supposed to be. It's just a bunch of people for different reasons going up there. Now everybody has their different beliefs on what is the problem, but I would say if you were going to give one clear message of what this is all about, it's all about reestablishing the First Amendment again, because just the fact that this is such a strange thing to so many people, and the people that think this is weird or that want to shut these people down, you're just not being Americans, because you don't understand what the First Amendment's all about. It's all about if there's grievances, to be able to be heard, to have your voice heard, and there shouldn't be anything that could stop that unless it's directly harming someone or a business, perhaps. I don't really agree with the personally that when they're going right in front of a bank's doors or something like that, to block it. There's plenty of ways to still get your voice heard, but here's the problem. Just like you go back to the Tea Party movement. The Tea Party started off legitimately, as far as it's independent people pissed off at the government, that wanted basically less government. I would think that was the clearest message with that group. But the thing is there was no leader, and that's the point. There shouldn't be like a main group. Like, it's not a political party. It's not it's a bunch of people with their own views, and to have people come up and then say they are the leader, or be called the leader of the movement. This is just the establishment trying to take control over that kind of a situation, because they're scared of independent movements and independent minds. Okay, this is the biggest problem, and so this is why we're seeing, this is really what the main reason I brought this up today was an article in the New York Post that says they want slice of the Occupy. So far, I guess the Occupy Wall Street movement has raised $500,000, okay, by donations and other things. And so now you've got different parts of the Occupy movement, people that are there asking for certain things, okay, by a committee, and they're frustrated because they're not able to get it. Okay, this is such a perfect example of what happens when you get a group like a government to run things. Okay, so this is just like taxes. Okay, people want to fix problems, and so they say, let's have a big government, let's tax so we can let the government decide, and then the government can do all these different programs. Well, this is a small scale test experiment of that same thing. So you've got a very small group of people, you've got a very small amount of money, $500,000, compared to what our government has in the trillions, and even just with this little small group, okay, you see how the money, once it goes to the top, okay, it's very, very hard to get it back. And so, and there's a lot of problems, in there. And this just goes back to my idea of limited government. I mean, you have here in this article, it's talking about the the drummers, in the drum circle, wanted $8,000 to replace drums and to build a small shed to lock them up, since I guess they got some of their drums got punched holes in them by some guy in the night, and so they're mad because they're not getting any of the money. They said no. They turned us down. I am really frustrated, says Moses. So this is like, when we get taxed to death, and then we're asking for different programs from the government, and then we get mad when we don't get them, and then we think, this and that is wrong, and these people need to go from the government. Well, it's the whole system that was screwed up in the first place. If these guys that were the drummers here raised their own money, they had control of their own independent, movement, which is they think the drum circle would bring noise to make people, look at the protesters more. Well, they could be asking for money on their own, and they can do whatever they want with it. But once you start thinking of this bigger movement, just like in Russia, the old USSR, and the whole idea of communism is like, oh, let's give all our money to the government and let the government separate it evenly amongst the people. Well, it just never works out, and it gets lost in all the bureaucracy. And so, just for these few guys, that want some money for their drums, it's going to take them a whole lot and time and effort, and they're going to be pissed off, and just to get that. So to me, it's a perfect example. And also, the money, $500,000, right? Well, we know that was put out there by people who want to control this group for their own reasons. And what we're seeing mostly on the mainstream about this is that it's a socialist, left-wing, communist, type movement. And I was down here at the Occupy Chico, talking about limited government, Federal Reserve, to end the Federal Reserve, to restore gold standard, to restore Glass-Steagall, independent, individual responsibility. These aren't anything close to those types of socialist types things. But when you hear about what the gist is down there, you'll probably just hear it's a bunch of lefty, socialist kids that want something for nothing, and I'm completely opposite of that. So the point is, main thing here is that there shouldn't be anybody controlling these groups or collecting money or doing anything like that whatsoever. If you want to bring something to the table, you should bring it to the table on your own. If you don't have the money to do that, you need to go talk to people to help you out individually, but not a group. That's where this is what they want to try to eliminate, is the individual. They want to eliminate family, the individual. They want us to all think of everything as a